Americana. This film was directed by Tony Tost, and basically this is his very first film debut. And the film stars Sydney Sweeney, Walter Hauser, Halsey, and of course many among others. The film follows a group of various characters in this film who had to go after this MacGuffin, which is basically a ghost sure Native American artifact, and of course and these other stuff that go around in the story, and of course these certain characters, certain plot lines, try to intertwine how they try and match up to each other. So my overall verdict of the film, I'm just going to jump right at the bat. I haven't much to say, but for the majority of it, I liked it. I enjoyed it for what it is. It's not perfect, but it's not going to be my all-time favourite film. I think many years to come, I think many people will look back on this film. They might say this is very underrated or very underappreciated or overlooked. I would see that potentially happen because it may be one of those films that people are going to look back upon and going to start saying that film's underrated or that film doesn't get much love or appreciation. But for what I see, it did get a positive feedback from many people. I see many people like this film, and for me, I liked it. I didn't love it, like I said. I didn't love the film, but for what it is, I was entertained for the most part. I did enjoy some aspects. Let's just say this right now. Tony Tost directed here is amazing. I think he did a good job capturing that Western feel like Quintino, and because the violence, the blood, and also some beautiful shots. Basically, you see some of the cowboy films like The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, which do have some cinematography-wise looks stunning as hell. And the majority of his direction for these actors to give, they all give good performances, especially towards the three main leads, or the three standouts more like. Sydney Sweeney, Walter Hauser, and of course Halsey, who three are the best things going for it, because their performances, they are the standouts. Sydney Sweeney, of course, again, great actress. I'm really impressed with her all the time when I see her, but I'm not going to lie, she is growing me. I think she's starting to become my favourite actress right now working, and she is very beautiful to look at and very, very attractive, and she is also...
She's fit.
Enough said. But that being said, I do think her character is really interesting. She started off like a really shy waitress, and also she stars a lot when she talks, especially talks to Walter Hauser's character, Lefty. His character is very interesting as well. Both of them have this really interesting dynamic towards each other, especially their chemistry there, especially when you do see them the first time when they're at this restaurant that Poppy works in. Basically, she's a side waitress, and basically Lefty's trying to talk to her about how to propose to his girlfriend, and basically they've been dating for a few months, and then basically that backfired. But we do get a chance to see them, their chemistry or their friendship, but in a certain way you can tell they do like each other, but even though they're just remain as friends. The way they ended this film, I'm not going to spoil it if you want to watch it. It was very shocking to say the value of it, but I can't really say what exactly happens, about which, if you watch the film, you know where it's going. And of course, you've got Halsey, who is basically Mandy Star, who is basically a single mom who basically has got her son, Kyle, who is basically big fan of this Native American culture. He's into that stuff because he watches all these Western cowboys and Indians TV show or movies he watches, and he basically thinks he's a part of that Native American, which there were a couple of times it does get a little dragged out of the way because, well, her performance was good, but I didn't find the character, as a single mom trying to go on this run, driving away, and of course her son is... Again, it wasn't that really interesting. There were interesting aspects of the story I was invested in, but there were a couple of times I kind of lost interest because it does kind of felt like, okay, where's this is going? Because I get why she's part of that thing going on with the whole, I don't know, it's just one of those moments that kind of maybe lost its way a little bit. It does feel a little bit out of place. Some of the humour and some of the aspects the humour there, I think, got some laughs, and it does have the dramatic moments. There are some tonal shifts, there are some funny moments, there's a couple of dramatic moments, which it does well fairly, but there were a couple of times it does feel like a little bit off. It does come across a little bit like, I don't know about that. It just jumps between dramatic and then comedy, but again, there were a couple of times it does work, but there are a couple of times it just felt like that doesn't work very well. But again, it's a subjective way, but I'm just saying that as a subjective. The actresses are pretty good. There is, like I said, it is violent. It has that Quintino feel. It's very violent. It's gory. There are a couple of bloody shots, especially the headshots, and the arrow shoot, especially Cal, who plays the little kid, basically got a bow and arrow and basically shoots the guy through the neck, which, oh, ouch. Not gonna lie, it's quite brutal, which is kind of affecting as well. And of course, you got Simon Rex, who is the villain in the film. He's fine. The actor does a good job, but the character though wasn't that interesting. But it's basically just there trying to get the guffin, trying to get that to get the money, and try to do this all other stuff. You know, it's all there. It's just a very basic story. Don't expect too much. Certain characters do get sidelined most of the time, and certain they have more screen time than others. And the pacing, at times, it was good. I was invested a little bit in it after it kind of slowed down certain areas. And I think the ending did kind of drag out a little bit. It could have been shortened a little bit, but again, I can see why they did it. It did feel like it did drag a little bit. It does feel like it just goes on a little bit too long. For majority of it, it's good. I do like some of the pacing. The music score is pretty decent. Just the music, country, Western music is there. It's pretty enjoyable to listen to. As far as the story structure goes, it's basically told in 5 parts. And a little nitpick or negative, I will say, depends how you see it. I think it's the way they handle it. The first opening scene is basically part 1. But we get to part 2 to 5. It does feel a little bit out of order because there's certain parts that takes place even before that certain stuff happens. Then it goes to the other scene, which, again, it does get a little bit confusing, but then start off like, okay, that's out of the timeline, but then it goes into the order timeline, which kind of felt like it's all over the place a little bit, unfocused, a little bit, cluttered a little bit in certain ways. But I get that's the story's problem. It's kind of like Weapons, but difference is Weapons does it a little bit better, but this one did okay-ish the way, but I wish they could have done it a little bit more clear. Maybe they could have put that in the beginning of the movie into the middle part of the film. It would have worked a little bit better, but I can see why they did it at the beginning, but I wish they could have done it somewhere in the middle or something, or I don't know, somewhere in certain scenes it would have worked. I don't know what else to say about Americana. I think it's a fine film. It's one of those movies it's going to look back upon. It's going to be one of those underrated gems, or it's going to be overlooked. But again, it's entirely subjective how you see the movie. For majority of it, I enjoyed it for what it was. It was entertaining. There are some good aspects, the comedy, the action, the drama. It does have a right balance of it, and also the cast are great. There are some nitpicks of issues I have with it, like the pacing and story structure, and certain characters do get sidelines now and again. But for majority of it, I think it's fine. I think it's a personally enjoyable, entertaining flick with some enjoyable moments, but it could have been better. But I will say it's definitely enjoyable, good time. I'm going to give Americana a B. Guys, comment down below. Have you seen Americana? Do you love it? Do you like it? Do you think it's alright? Or do you absolutely hate it? Whatever the case is, comment down below and tell me what you think. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Until next time, see ya.